Here's the problem with Canada. We're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We don't need the cars. We don't need their lumber.
The intensity of Donald Trump's attacks on Canada may be stronger than ever.
We've been screwed by Canada.
But Trump's anger at the trading relationship goes way back. One of the earliest beefs of his first term over Canada's dairy industry.
Canada, what they've done to our dairy farm workers is a disgrace.
And it's in his sights again now.
We don't need their milk. We got a lot of milk.
With Trump vowing to renegotiate the new NAFTA agreement that he signed onto in his first term,
Oh, I'm going to have a lot of fun.
we meet Canadian dairy farmers concerned about Trump 2.0.
We don't need their dairy products.
Wow.
I think he doesn't understand the dairy industry either in the States or Canada.
And we look at Canada's dairy supply management system that has Trump so riled up.
Why should we pay?
We're going to see the cows getting milked.
Peter and Philip Armstrong are sixth-generation dairy farmers. Their family farm with nearly 400 cows not far from Toronto.
What would you want people to know about managing a farm, a big farm like this?
24 hours a
It's
day.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When NAFTA was renegotiated during Trump's first term, creating the USMCA, Canada gave up tariff-free access to 3.6% of its highly regulated dairy market to the U.S.
So they milk 24 at a time in here.
The brothers fear even more could be lost with the USMCA up for review in 2026.
Dairy always seems to be the sacrificial lamb. And I think we're at a point where enough's enough, and we're not going to give up anymore.
The brothers point out that even though Canada's dairy market is relatively closed off to foreign competitors, the country still imports far more dairy products from the U.S. than Canadian producers sell there.
If you could talk to Donald Trump as he gets ready for his second term, what would you say to him?
We're not unfair because we're not dumping our product into the United States and depressing your prices. So we're not creating your problem there. It just sounds like he doesn't want to negotiate. He wants to dictate. So we're going to have to stand firm.
To Canada's dairy farmers, standing firm means protecting the country's strict supply management system. Supply management goes back to the early 1970s and covers dairy, eggs, and poultry. It limits the supply of milk to what Canadians are expected to consume, meant to keep prices stable and Canadian dairy farmers in business.
So I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty because everyone will get bored. But basically, it revolves around the domestic market and that we produce and meet the needs of the Canadian market.
It's just given us stability. We get a fair price, the processors get a fair return, and the grocers can make a profit as well.
The system has three pillars: controlled production, prices, and imports. Production quotas are set for each province. A dairy farmer must hold a quota to produce up to a certain amount of milk. Producers are then guaranteed a minimum price for their output. And to protect Canadian farmers, high tariffs are imposed, making foreign imports often prohibitively expensive.
We're going to put the biggest tariffs.
While Trump has a self-professed love for U.S. tariffs,
I think tariffs are the most beautiful word.
he's repeatedly slammed those imposed by Canada.
The United States pays tremendous tariffs on dairy. As an example, 270%. Nobody knows that.
And among other grievances, Trump is seemingly unsatisfied with the increased access he got in that last NAFTA renegotiation, threatening to tear up the USMCA.
And I will renegotiate to the benefit of our country.
We hate giving up some of our market, but I think a lot of us breathed the heavy sigh of relief that it was only 4%. I don't know what could happen with the next one.
What would it mean for your farm if the supply management system didn't exist?
If you're just, okay, well, we don't worry about it, we'll just import from the States, well, there's a lot of jobs there.
Now, worst case scenario, the Canadian dairy industry is decimated. So then we're relying on the United States. We're relying on Donald Trump. We need to make sure we look after our domestic industry, because if we don't, we're in deep trouble.
While dairy farmers call the system vital, supply management has faced criticism over the years, and not just from Trump.
Supply management is a persistent trade irritant for Canada's trading partners. Supply management is almost always at the top of the list for negotiating items.
But the bigger problem with supply management, says University of Manitoba professor Ryan Cardwell, is the impact on Canadian consumers.
The result is higher prices than would exist in a more competitive market that allowed more imports to come from relatively low-cost producers, most importantly from the United States.
There are no limits on how much American farmers, directly subsidized by the government, can produce, so overproduction and lower prices are more likely. Cardwell says it's the opposite in Canada.
A lower supply results in a higher price in the market. If you are a low-income family, it can be quite a significant share of your expenditure.
Still, supply management and the dairy industry have the support of Canada's main political parties.
We have a supply management system that works very well.
I do support supply management.
89,000 jobs are provided through our dairy sector and $8.5 billion to the GDP.
Mark Hamill chairs the Dairy Farmers of Ontario Board of Directors. The group's 60th annual general meeting being held just days before Trump takes office.
Are you worried?
I'm concerned, but we have a strong position, strong industry, and strong relationship with the government.
And so how will you be lobbying government as they prepare to deal with Donald Trump?
We're constantly in conversations with our government. Our industry is the largest agriculture sector in Ontario, so it's fundamental to our economy, but also to our producers. The system provides a very fair, equitable price for the quality of product that we're providing to the consumer.
The fight over dairy is, of course, part of a much larger trade war brewing between the U.S. and Canada.
Tariff, I love tariff.
Trump vowing to slap 25% tariffs on all Canadian goods on his first day in office.
I'm a big believer in tariffs. I think they're beautiful. It's going to make us rich.
The Armstrong Brothers fear the dairy market could become a bargaining chip to protect other industries.
So when you say it's important that Canadian politicians go into this with resolve, what do you want to see from them?
Like sometimes they cave, or or give up one industry. Trump says, yeah, we'll take the 25% tariff off oil to give us dairy.
And that would give politicians, they would go,
That's
maybe
what
that's worth it.
But they need
You know?
resolve for a Canadian as an economy and as a country. You go, that's not good.
For now, that's a hypothetical fueled by uncertainty and Trump's bluster. Despite the threat, the brothers trying to keep calm and carry on.
It's funny, I think I had more anxiety the first time. So maybe I've just got numb to it. I don't know.
He's back. We have to deal with it. There's nothing we can change as dairy farmers that can change that.
It's going to be interesting. Let's put it that way.